Everyone knows that the cost of living in Hong Kong is high, and so are the wages. According to official data released by the Hong Kong government, the median monthly salary for Hong Kong residents in the first quarter of 2023 was 20,000 HKD. In Hong Kong, a dishwasher can earn around 40,800 HKD per month. And a security guard working only 8 hours a day can make over 13,000 HKD monthly. However, there is one group who work over 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, yet only earn nearly 5,000 HKD a month. They are the Filipino domestic workers in Hong Kong.
To better assess the living condition and financial status of Filipino maid in Hong Kong, we managed to interview one who is working in one of our groupmates' household. Alina, a 32-year-old Filipino woman who has been working in Hong Kong for 3 years, accepted our interview. When talking about salary and workload, she believed she was the one with good fortune.
From fixed salary.
Yeah, about NMA contract, what is NMA contract? My employer is giving to me, and now is 4,990. So my employers is giving the right salary. For now, my last employer now is very good for me because all my rights is giving to me, like my resting, food, shelter, everything is giving to me now. But some of the helper is not lucky because they have sleep how many hours working, and she's sleeping what in the morning, what is the time, maybe 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. So maybe it's not all the helper is lucky to find a good employer.
In Alina's eyes, those cannot find a good employer will bear great workload with little income. But who is keeping their poverty and inequality as it is to be? And then, when talking about culture barrier and discrimination, Alina really believed language was a key barrier, and there were some moments that can give her mental stress.
Sometimes when I can talk the Chinese language, Cantonese or Mandarin, cannot speak in the Chinese, right? So, but some of the people can speak in English so easily to communicate with each other.
Okay. So, but I think also maybe if you take care of some elder people.
Yeah, if I take care of some elder people, maybe it's always English because that one is the barrier for us to everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
To cannot speak Cantonese or Mandarin.
Oh.
Yeah. For me, if some of employers that give to me a good treating and to the others, and always thinking what is my wrong, what can I do, what cannot do, then they can give me a mental depression because they not good to communicate to each other, always fighting. That's all.
The case of Filipino domestic helpers in Hong Kong highlights critical issues of poverty and inequality. These workers, who form a significant part of the city's foreign labor force, face exploitation, long working hours, low wages, and few rights, trapping them in a cycle of poverty that is difficult to escape. This situation is not just an isolated employment issue, it's deeply tied into systemic and structural inequality that sustain their disadvantaged position. The key question we must ask is who benefits from maintaining this status and why. Affluent and middle-class employers benefit from cheap labor, allowing them to maintain their comfortable lifestyles without the financial strain of paying higher wages. This economic structure creates a power imbalance, undervaluing workers and keeping them in a vulnerable position. For employers, pushing for change such as higher wages or better working conditions would increase costs. The financial burden makes many employees reluctant to support reforms that could disrupt the affordability of domestic help, which they rely on to maintain household functions. However, there are many who advocate for change. Local and international NGOs, labor unions, and human rights organizations actively campaign for fairer wages, better labor conditions, and stronger protections under the law for domestic workers. These reforms are seen as vital for social justice. Additionally, the lack of support for female participation in the labor market in Hong Kong, particularly in a patriarchal society, plays a significant role. Employers exploit Filipino maids because there are limited alternatives for women in the workforce. This raises the pressing question: who can bring about real change in this situation? Change will require the coordinated efforts of multiple stakeholders, including NGOs, government agencies, human rights organizations, and the wider community. It also requires pressure on policymakers to implement meaningful reform. Ultimately, only through sustained collective action can we hope to shift the power dynamics, ensuring that economic growth benefits all members of society, not just the privileged few who continue to uphold the current status quo.
There exists a multiple of actions that can be taken by various stakeholders to enhance the current situation. For instance, Filipinos residing in Hong Kong have the option to depart from the city in order to break free from the cycle of poverty. Despite the challenges of surviving on a monthly income of 5,000 in Hong Kong where the cost of living is high, they could potentially enjoy a better standard of living with the same amount in their home country or other developing nations. It is imperative for the government to acknowledge the necessity of increasing the salary of domestic helpers in Hong Kong, as the current rate of 5,000 is inadequate to cover living expenses in a city with such a high inflation rate. Moreover, there is a pressing need to establish laws that safeguard the rights of domestic helpers and prevent them from being exploited or overworked. Non-governmental organizations, NGOs, plays a critical role in providing essential support to domestic helpers in Hong Kong. This support includes offering legal advice, counseling services, and resources like food and daily necessities. NGOs also extend assistance to domestic helpers who have been victims of abuse. In addition to the assistance provided by NGOs, community centers plays a vital role in helping domestic helpers adjust their life in Hong Kong. They organize language classes, skills training workshops, and cultural lessons to facilitate the integration of domestic helpers into the local community. Moreover, community centers host social events that bring together domestic helpers living in the same area, fostering a support network for them to rely on during challenging times. Employers play a crucial role in supporting their domestic helpers in Hong Kong by understanding their unique needs and providing the necessary assistance. It is essential for employers to empower their helpers by educating them about their rights and guiding them on how to seek help when faced with challenges.
The dilemma is a structural problem. Now, the question leads to what can the society do to put to a solution? Let's start by setting clear goals. First, education stands out as top priority. Why? Because studies show that each extra year of schooling can boost income by over 11% for men and 12% for women. Learning Hong Kong's basic law and Cantonese skills empower the domestic workers to fight for their rights. So, should the government take this on? If it increases support for foreign domestic helpers, will the taxpayers push back? People often support policies that benefit them directly, so these efforts may lack public backing. Plus, domestic helpers don't have much political influence, so their voices often go unheard by policymakers. What about the training centers? Should they take on this responsibility? The challenge is that they often aim to cut costs, so offering training in areas like financial management or legal rights, topics beyond household tasks, don't benefit their businesses. For this reason, they're unlikely to support this type of education either. Currently, NGOs like Help for Domestic Workers and Enrich Hong Kong provide education and support for helpers, but are they getting enough backing from society? These groups rely on donations and volunteers, limiting their reach, as few people are willing to invest time and money to help. The main issue, in the end, is people's indifference. With questions like, why should I care? Or how does this affect me? The real solution lies in changing our collective mindset. And the first crucial step, raising awareness. We need everyone's awareness. Employers, the government, the public, and each of us. It's essential to understand what might happen if we do nothing and this issue continues to worsen. Imagine fewer people willing to work as domestic helpers. Many agencies will go out of business, and families in Hong Kong will need to handle household work themselves. This could lead to a drop in working population, hurting the economy. Gender inequality might also rise, with fewer girls pursuing higher education and being pushed into traditional roles. The issue faced by the foreign domestic helpers aren't just their businesses. They impact all of us, economically, politically, and in daily lives. So, we need to bring these challenges to light. If voters understand the need to change, they're more likely to support policies protecting domestic helpers. This could lead to laws preventing exploitation, government subsidies for agencies to partner with NGOs, and more educational support. Through social media, campaigns, and education, the public can help amplify the voices of domestic helpers against exploitation and abuse. The solution comes from the change of people's perception, and we need more people to be aware of this. Let's all take the first step to a solution and raise our voices, just like what this video is doing. Always remember that we can all make a difference.